Hi, I'm Lissa Monette. I'm a brand artist and today I am Power of the Collective Ambassador. First, we're gonna show you how to identify type 2 hair texture. Second, we're gonna play with how to place the right color technique for this hair texture. Third, what is the best choice of toning for this hair texture? Fourth, do you want to know the best haircut to create volume for type 2 hair texture? From there, what type of hair care and styling product will create volume or maybe tame a little bit the frizz that type 2 might have the challenge with? We have beautiful Stephanie to showcase type 2 hair texture. How do we demystify it? First of all, if we look at Stephanie before picture, she came saying, I have frizzy hair. I don't really curl. This is your clue that she might be type 2 hair texture. She needs a little bit of help for creating this beautiful S pattern. We can see that S pattern that can have a tendency to sit a little bit lazy, which is how you demystify type 2. Density-wise, we can have guess with coarser density of hair with type 2. Some will be finer, but average, we have like Stephanie, a medium density of hair. For the technique of weaving, on Stephanie, the hair density in the front hairline being finer, we're gonna choose more of a micro weave, which emit a little bit of a baby light, a sun effect, very subtle lived in. For the back and crown section, we're now gonna be doing more of a normal weave, which is gonna create a little bit more of a chunky feel where the hair density is a little bit higher. So now we're gonna present on a mannequin head what we did on Stephanie. For the foiling technique, we're gonna break it down in 3 sections. We'll have our area A. We're gonna be doing the baby light in this hairline, respecting the curve of the head form. This area being finer, the baby light will really create a soft, natural feel. We have our section B, the crown and side remaining. This is gonna be more of a normal weave to create a little bit of a soft chunk feel. Section C would be the nape area. To create the micro weave, we actually wanna hold the hair close to the hairline, take the tail comb tip and really draw at the scalp the little weave pattern, grabbing the hair, having a nice soft veil of hair. We're now gonna be foiling the top of the foil paper, utilizing a lightener that has bonding inside to really stay true to the integrity of the hair. I like to use 10 volume peroxide to really be gentle with the hairline hair. Applying a little bit of lightener on my foil will help the hair to glue to the foil. Your hot tip here is we want to start the application of the lightener about 1 inch lower from the scalp and making sure you're spreading the hair nice and large for a nice even saturation. If the hair have a tendency to get all together, you can really use your brush to open up and make sure to have a nice soft saturation. Bring the tip inwards. Now that my length and edge is saturated, I can come with my brush vertically and get closer to the regrow area. Now that I've isolated my first hairline piece, I'm now creating my weave with the tip of the tail comb right at the hairline. We now have a nice soft weave section. I take my foil, foiling the tip of it. Application of a little bit of lightener will help hair stick to the foil. I keep my hand close to the head, applying the lightener 1 inch lower from the regrow area, saturating my mid-length and ends with my lightener. Lightener that has a power of 8 level of lift with bonder inside. We've mixed it with 10 volume to make sure to keep integrity of those first hairline hair that are more fragile. once my saturation is done, mid-length and ends, I'm combing with my comb vertically with a low saturation. The heat of the scalp will actually make this area lift very well, even if the saturation is not as high. Foiling the foil. I now can check underneath, use this unfoil to make sure I'm close to the hairline. I like to take my comb to foil cleanly my edge without creating any pressure to keep the lightener well spread inside the foil. Now taking my second one, I'm brickling bottom to top, creating my baby-like micro stitches to have the maximum but soft lightening at the hairline. Depending on how we consulted with our guests, we can choose to do 4 to 6 foil at that hairline section A. So right here, you can see if the foil slided a little bit, how we can bring the foil closer and then close it up to make sure that there's no melting of the lightener and create a hot root, which we don't desire. At our second and third foil, we're now gonna be stretching a little bit from the regrow area, not coming with the lightener as close to really create a natural feel at that hairline piece. So as you can see, I am not coming as close to my regrow. I'm staying a little bit further from it. In this back area, we're now going to be brickling the section, respecting the curve of the head. The hair being more dense, this medium weave will create a little bit more of chunky feel. So in the front, where the hair was finer, it's actually softer with the baby light, and here a little chunkier with the normal stitch that matches at the front hairline. I now use a fresh mix of lightener with 20 volume. So the hot tip here is that in the front we use 10 volume and in this back section 20 volume. So at the end, I know that my front is not gonna be over processed. They're both gonna meet at the same time the level of lift desired without any over damaging. As you notice, we are not coming as close to the regrow area, keeping that lived-in feel for those chunkier micro stitch zones. In this section B, the brickling sections are gonna be coming a little bit back, front, matching the curve of the head. So there's a visual connection without having a side-to-side placement. Taking a slice, holding the hair mid-length, weaving my positive and negative space for a normal weave. I apply my full lightener to help the stickiness of the hair. Application of the lightener mid-length and ends, making sure the saturation is evenly spread. Once this is done, simply bringing my color brush vertical, melting close to about 1 inch, 1.5 inches from the regrow area, keeping some depth and natural into those normal weave highlights that are chunkier. If your guest has natural hair, virgin, no color, ask yourself, while you're doing the consultation. The clue is I want 2 or 3 level, lighter look, warmer feel. Maybe a color, a permanent color could create the same effect. So if you don't need to use a lightener, maybe a permanent hair color, alkaline will give you that 2-3 level left with 20 or 30 volume, and you didn't use lightener. Now the highlights are rinsed after the 30 to 40 minutes processing time. We're gonna make sure to rebalance the porosity as well as the pH using our protein intake before the toning. This will make sure to recharge the hair with the protein and keep healthy looking hair. The gloss is also gonna last way longer if we re-gave protein and equalized porosity before the toning. We're gonna use an acidic color for the toning because we wanna just glaze without necessarily lifting the natural undertone of our guests. So hot tip, when you're about to put the bottom down, if you don't want the color to get out, you actually want to press on the bottom first. Then when you put it down, the product will not exit the bottle. Then I can press to push product onto the hair, sectioning with my tail comb on the other end, and then I can press the bottle. Creating your shadow root, our first formulation is a warm level 8 gold tone. Then we're gonna melt into the length and ends a level 10 neutral tone. Creating your shadow root will give you an effect of deeper into the regrow area for a very natural feel. We're gonna transition the front line thinner and the back and side will be a little bit lower into the shadowing. Your zone 1 regrow has your shadow root. We're now gonna apply our zone 2 and 3, the length and ends, with our formula level 10. And we're slowly gonna be melting it towards the regrow. Applying the length and ends at first. Melting the zone 1 regrow level 8 together. And moving towards the bottom. We apply the mid-length and ends with our formula level 10. Coming to our shadow root effect, melting both tones together. This will create an effect of grown-in, natural feel for this look. In the back and the side, the highlight we've created was further from the roots, so is the zone 1 of the regrow that we did. The processing time will be 20 minutes once you're done the application. If you're using a demi-permanent that is acid, it will not lift the natural level of your guest. If you use more of a alkaline demi-permanent, it will actually tickle the undertone and give a little bit of a melting with the natural tone of the client. Applying the level 10 color, mid-length and ends. Once this is saturated, we come and we melt the shadow root level 8 at the regrow with level 10 in the mid-length and ends. I like to use a bottle application for my toner when I have a product that have a liquid, gel, lighter consistency product. After the processing time of 20 minutes, we're now gonna be creating a beautiful haircut to maximize and beautify the type 2 hair texture. For our type 2 hair texture, the reality is it's a S pattern that has a sense of being a little bit lazy. To maximize this volume, it's best to create some layers, but keeping fullness into the perimeter of the hair. To create this beautiful shape with Tiffany, we over-directed in the front the first fringe section. Creating an over-direction will keep you length in the opposite direction in the back. The finger position will be inward to create the volume higher. We're gonna take vertical section over-directing to this first front section, which will keep that beautiful length and fullness towards the back. Let me show you on the mannequin head. I'm taking my fringe section with a vertical section at the hairline. All of this section will be over-directed, comb forward, and this fringe area will dictate the whole guide of my haircut. Over-direction forward, and then finger angle inward. The length of this fringe will be our guide for the rest of the haircut. Taking my second section, I will simply overcomb on my first section, which is my guide. Over direct front, elevate, and see my guide for my finger position. Angle is inward, which will keep the volume higher on my section. To create an effect that's more drastic, we're gonna elevate the hair, but keep our finger vertical. When this collapses, you can see that the angle of graduation is more aggressive. We have the power to change the way the graduation falls, changing our angles of cut. So now we're gonna cut this top area horizontally and have a graduation that's really more dramatic. It's now time to style this beautiful voluminous haircut. We are gonna choose water to first moisturize and create that nice soft S pattern. I like to apply my water evenly through the roots to end. And to apply the product, we're gonna subsection. The hair being a finer to medium density, we're gonna choose to part it in two sections. If the hair would be more dense, we could do 2 or 3 different parting for the even saturation of product. We're gonna use a cream definition hydrating product. This texture will really maximize the moisture, keeping a lot of frizz control without having too much weight on the hair. I emulsify the product into the hair, making sure from my regrowth to my mid-length tip have saturation evenly before moving to my second section. For this guest, our cream hydrating leave-in is the best choice because we want to keep the moisture with a very light feel. If your client wants a little bit more weight on the hair, she wants to collapse volume, we would choose more of a gel texture mixed with your leave-in moisturizing. This way you control the volume that the hair takes. To control the frizz, I'm now gonna spray a mist before I give you the hot tip for the styling. Hot tip for the styling, we're now gonna ask your guest to move her head naturally tilted on the side, wet down the product, and with a microfiber towel, this will really help a lot. Using your hand will add more frizz, but the microfiber will just absorb the excess of water as well as the excess of product, creating this incredible definition into those lazy ends that type 2 might have a tendency to have. For the hair type 2, we have multiple options for the styling. Now that the moisturizing products are all applied in, we can either let the hair air dry for a soft, subtle set. But you can also choose a diffuser if you'd like to have more volume. We suggest to start drying the inside before the tips. This way, you're really gonna control the anti-frizz factor. Until 50% of the hair in this middle area is dry. Then when this is done 50%, you can come and dry the ends towards the top. Now, at home hair care, Stephanie will need to use a sulfate-free shampoo to keep the moisture into her beautiful curls. Also, because she desires to add more volume, I suggest her to use a cream that will have a nice moisturizing feeling, as well as a mist that she can add on the second day to reboost her hair texture volume. Once a week, she can use also a moisturizing mask to make sure to maintain the moisture into her hair. Type 2 hair texture will really be the one that creates a beautiful S pattern. It can be from a little bit softer to a little bit more curved into it pattern. You definitely want to keep up the moisture into your hair care so that the anti-frizz is controlled. It's a hair texture that will give you a lot of freedom to be creative with color, having a lot of options to play with foiling and highlights. Now get inspired and create your own inspiration with your flavor. Follow myself and The Power of the Collective on Facebook, Instagram, thepowerofthecollective.ca. And thank you so much for watching us, and make sure to look at hair texture 1, 3, and 4. Bye!